Welcome to Noonie TV, and don't forget to subscribe. We're giving away $25 gift card to a lucky winner once we reach our 100 subscriber. Thank you and enjoy. All right, everybody. Welcome. Happy Friday night. And as every week, welcome to the Golden Vendor Week or weekend. So this is festivity week, and I will say this may be the best vendor of the year for this week, for the week. So cool. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this week's reviews. All right, with that being said, first thing up is Briarheart. Where does Briarheart come from? The Rothgard Overland. Let's take a look at the fifth piece. When you deal critical damage, you increase your weapon and spell damage by 450 for 10 seconds. While this effect is active, your critical strike heal you for 307 health. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds and heals skills off of your max magicka or stamina. Alright, so with that being said, is it worth getting? Well, first let's take a look. This week in the vendor, in jewelry, 1 week is necklaces, 1 week is rings. So this week is rings. So we're talking about Briarheart rings. Is it worth it? Well, here it is. For I will say absolutely. I will say waste your AP on it. It is really good. It's been good for years. It used to be even more better. It used to be meta for its time. Now it's still pretty good. I will say this. It's good for PvE. It's good for solo PvP. Solo PvE. It's good for arenas. It's very good for trials and dungeons. You might not see everyone in trials using it, or go crazy about it, but it does do decent damage in the parse, especially if you're missing any upper gear or vice versa. I would definitely say try this setup. A nice thing about it is when you critical strike that 307 health, it might not sound like a lot, but trust me, when you're about to die or that little health will keep you alive. It gives you at least a good 1 second or two to be able to pop a heal, or if you have no resources, get some health, or maybe the healer will buff you. It has a cooldown of 15 seconds. Might sound bad, but actually not, because the weapon and spell damage that lasts for 10 seconds. So technically it's like a 5-second cooldown. You're not really going to feel it. I would say because it's golden, even though you can buy it, it's expensive in the guild traders. You can buy it, but save the mats. Definitely, I would say get AP. You save your mats, spend millions trying to get resources, golden resources. Just buy right here in the guild trader, in the golden vendor, before it goes away. Next thing we have is Dragar's Rest. Dragar's Rest comes from Falkreath Hold DLC dungeon. With that being said, that DLC can be a pain in the booty. We have newbies who are trying to get what you call that set, Nern a Pillar. Many people are after that. It's been meta for quite a bit, and many people are still trying to farm that. And sometimes they need pieces, so they go a lot there. Even pugging it on normal could sometimes be a pain in the booty. So with that being said, let's take a look at this. Fifth piece, when you complete a fully charged heavy attack, you create a circle of consecrated ground that heals you and your group members within 5 meters for 17,862 health over 10 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. Alright, so this will be used more for a support, possibly healer, more likely a healer. I have tested this out in the past. I did like it. It's situational. Is it the best healing set? I would say no. It's a cool, fun set, I will say. Because it is from a DLC dungeon, is it worth getting? Well, you can probably get this in body much more easier, but it's okay. If you have the AP, I will sure. Out of everything this week in the Golden Vendor, I would say this is probably the least of the better of the stuff here. But it is a little niche where you got a heavy attack. It does have good health. The cool thing, it has a nice circle that if your whole group steps on it, gets healed pretty nicely. The cooldown is 10 seconds. Not that bad. It's okay of a set. There's just better options out there. but I would say definitely, it'll be worth getting. Next, we have Kimras. Now, as you probably heard me from week to week, I was just hoping there was a time that either we get Pillar or Nern or Kimras, just the vendor give me something good. And finally, they came with something good. I'm pretty excited. Why am I excited for Kimura's ring? Do I have it? Absolutely. But here's why. And this is for the rest of everybody who's trying to farm it. Not an easy DLC to farm. It comes from. Oh man, I'm brain freeze today. It comes from Blake Drake Villa, the Flames of Ambition DLC dungeon. Not an easy dungeon. If you may know, getting jewelry and daggers are even staves are really they're really a pain in the booty to get to farm in this dungeon. So and you want to do it on vet because you want to get it at least in purple or gold. So with that being said, it is bind and pickup. Dragon's Rest is also bind and pickup as well because they're DLC. With that being said, is it worth getting in the Golden Treasure? Absolutely. As a matter of fact, Cameras is one of the top DPS sets in the game. Considering it comes from a dungeon and it's not a trial, you don't have to go to a trial to get Cameras. So, still really good. Used to be metas for its time. Still really good. One of the top DPS damage sets. Is it worth getting? I will say absolutely. And the fifth piece, what it does, dealing damage with a light or heavy attack grants you stack of burning heart for 5 seconds up to 5 stacks. While you have 5 stacks, you generate 8 aura of wrath, granting your major berserker, increasing your damage done by 10%. While you have an aura of wrath allies within 12 meters of you, you gain minor berserker, increasing their damage done by 5%. So for many people don't understand why this set is so good, I'm gonna tell you why. Because for example, let's say you have 2 trial gear sets with a third piece. If you ever look at a trial gear set, the third piece has that 5% Slayer damage. Well, those things don't slack Slayers or Slayer. So having two trial sets with this exact third piece may lose you a little damage. Because Kimra doesn't have, because it's a dungeon set, you replace it pretty much with the Berserk damage by 10% and the minor Berserk, which gives a ton of damage. It's similar to that third piece. However, because it's not Slayer, it'll stack and gives you a ton of good damage, not just for you, but also for your team as well. So it's definitely worth getting. Then finally in the rings, we have Mad Tinkers. Now I have tested this set out before. The fifth piece, when you deal damage, you summon a Viminous Fabricant that charges the nearest enemy, dealing 4/4/3/5 shock damage to all enemies. If it's path, knocking them into an air, stunning them for 2 seconds. Cooldown is 8 seconds. Once I see the word shock damage, that automatically reminds me about Sorks. I have tested this out in the parse. I have tested it out. It is okay. I thought it was going to be better than what it was. If you don't have much other sets around, I will say it's okay at best. It's not bad. It's not great. You can probably find it in the overland. It is a pain. That Mad Tickers, I believe, comes from Clockwork. Clockwork is not easy to farm, especially jewelry. So if you have the extra IP, sure, you can get it, but it's okay at best. Like I said, in general, there's really ain't. I don't really see at the moment anything bad at all that I would say not to get from the vendor. It will be more of your preference. Now we're gonna move to shoulders. As you may know, and I always mention, sometimes it's head, sometimes it's shoulders. When it comes to shoulders, even though you clear the veteran dungeons, you need keys, which you get them by doing pledges every day. You pick them up from the merchants. When at the end, when you clear it on vet, you get certain amount of keys, and those keys you save them so you can eventually get a lottery chance of getting a shoulder. However, sometimes you may spend so many keys that you probably may not get. If you need a light piece, you might end up getting all mediums and heavies, or sometimes not of your choice, and you run out of keys. So with that being said, you play a safe bet and you just save your AP, and when it comes in the golden vendor, you buy it. So let's take a look. Baron Citrus Aren't Cops. Where does that come from? All right, that comes from the Cauldron. That is the Flames of Ambition DLC. Let's look at the last piece. Applying a status effect to an enemy grants you a stack of Soldier's Ambition for 10 seconds. Up to 3 stacks max. When you gain the stacks are removed and you gain 4 ultimate. On gaining ultimate, you cannot gain additional stacks of Simra's Ambition for 1 second. It has a first piece that gives you 3 resources. Looks more like a supportish type of set. Looks okay at best. I mean, there's a lot of things that are much better than this one, but because it is a shoulder, it's niche. However, if you got the AP, I would say get it because it is shoulders. It'll save you a chance from wasting keys, as well it is a DLC dungeon. The next one is Blame's Symphony of Blame Art Cops, or Symphony of Blames. Now, this set everyone must know about. It's a very popular healing or support set. Sometimes tanks use it as well in their arsenal. It comes from the depths of Minotaur location, the Raftstone DLC. Alright. When you heal an ally who is under 50% of their primary resources, grant them Meridia's Favor, which restores 550 magicka or stamina every 1 second for 6 seconds. This effect can occur every 18 seconds per target. Now, a lot of people are still using it. It's not used as much as it used to before. Before, you used to use like pancakes, like hot pancakes. Everyone would just rock it. It's still pretty decent, still pretty good, but not as it good before, especially with the cooldown making it much longer. But it is nice, and it's also a much harder DLC dungeon to complete. It's actually one of the pain in the ass type of DLCs that you have to, especially you got to do it on vet. However, keys, remember, it comes through the vendor, through the merchant. So with that being said, save your time, and I say if you have the AP and you don't have it, absolutely get it. It is definitely worth having. With that being said, I'm gonna admit this vendor was really good. Probably the best of the year. I mean, so far, I think this is the best vendor there is yet. Cameras, especially, guys, don't sleep on this. Especially now with the festival, you that cake, eat that cake, get some XP really quick, and get a ton of money and ton of AP really quick, and get this stuff because before it expires, you never know when this comes back again. With that being said, um, if you listen to our YouTube channel, if you like it, you got any questions, comments, feel free to comment, subscribe. That way we can continue to make more content, help other people with their builds and needs. We're always trying to help other people. All right. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your weekend.